Joining us now here on the Picks for Polls podcast, he's our first running back to interview with us this offseason. Coming to us from the University of New Hampshire, we've got Dylan Laube in the house. You can follow him on Twitter at Dylan_Laube. He's going to be talking football with us, some NFL draft stuff, a whole lot more. How is it going? Thanks so much for being on here, Dylan.
It's going well, man. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun this next couple months, man. But thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, let's kind of get right into it. Take it back to Friday Night Lights, because I know, you're playing high school football up there in the Northeast. What made the University of New Hampshire such a good fit for you? Like, you're a senior in high school, and now you're like, oh, crap, I have to make this life-changing decision, this thing that's going to kind of impact me for the foreseeable future. But what made New Hampshire the right fit?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, it was my only offer, so really that was kind of my only kind of choice, kind of. But end of the day, man, I fell in love with the school when they offered me. I took an official visit up there, and it just became my second home. I love the staff, I love the culture there, I love the team, man. It was such a close-knit group, man. I was like, this is where I truly belong. But also, like, I've been so comfortable up there in the Northeast, and I was ready to take a change in a different area and kind of take a leap somewhere else and just try and be uncomfortable in a comfortable situation. So once again, I mean, I don't regret anything that I did, and that place is now my second home. So once again, it's that place. It's gonna have a special place in my heart. So yeah, they've given me so much, so I thank them so much too.
So you talk about, it becoming a special place. It's going to be one of those places, which holds a place in your heart forever. But how do you feel like you grew as a player on the field, but also off the field at New Hampshire?
Yeah. Well, going in there at 18 and now leaving that place when you're 23, you definitely change a bunch. I mean, just overall as a kid to a adult, and I matured so much there from becoming a fourth string running back to the first string to becoming captain. So I think I've learned so much, and I kind of grew as a person, as not just a leader, but someone that could be a role model in the community also. So it was definitely something that I took with me also. And just having tough coaches too, from my first head coach, Mac, who instilled just grit into our blood basically, and just kind of just had that live free or die motto that New Hampshire is kind of built for. And he instilled so much great philosophies into us, and kind of built someone that I think is going to be very successful in the NFL. And just from me and my teammates, man, we have that chip on our shoulder, and that comes from, once again, becoming from that small school, that blue collar school that everyone kind of thinks is not too good, but every time you play us, man, we make sure everyone knows who New Hampshire is. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot there, man.
All right, so that was awesome, by the way, because I feel like, the thing is everyone has this perception to be this successful player. Like, you have to play at, one of those Power 5 schools, but it's like living in an age of social media. You now can kind of get your name on the map no matter where you play, whether or not people even know where your school is on the map.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, kind of looking at who you are as a player, how would you describe, who you are as a running back, what you are able to do to opposing defenses on the field, and, what do you think makes playing running back so worth it for you? Like, was it a position that you always played when you were growing up, or did you kind of play multiple positions in high school?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think I'm the type of player that's fun. I mean, on and off the field, man, I'm just a fun guy. And especially on the field, I play so much different positions, from running back to receiver to punt return to kick return to gunner to jammer to running down on kick off. So I mean, I play so much different things, and I've been told, man, I'm just a fun guy to watch because once again, I do so much things and I just don't stop. I have so much energy all the time. I mean, if you saw me at the combine, I was just nonstop from doing the DX celebration to smiling like the whole time to having a great time there. But no, running back is something that I've been playing since I was 5. In the beginning, so I played in this like Pee Wee league that was ages 6 through 8, and my dad threw me in there when I was 5. So I was miserable my first year. I was getting my butt kicked the whole time. And then eventually when I turned 6 and 7 was when I started to grow with the game. And then I was like, you know what? I'm actually a pretty good running back, and I'd like to score touchdowns, man. So I kind of just grew the love there. And once again, I say it all the time, like scoring a touchdown is the best feeling of all time. I don't care if you want to hit someone or do whatever, man, but scoring a touchdown and just hearing the crowd just erupt is an unreal feeling.
Yeah, I mean, playing, and again, I coach like running backs, corners, wide receivers. I feel like me coaching, high school football, I've had to coach like every single position except the O-line and D-line at this point.
Yeah.
But, I kind of learned over the years, right? Running back is this incredibly underrated position because like you are a playmaker, you're underappreciated, but also, your success is dependent on what the quarterback's doing, what the receivers are doing, maybe even, most of all, what the O-line is doing. What are you looking at pre versus post snap, especially when the ball's coming to you?
Yeah. I think the running back position is definitely underrated right now, especially because you have to think about we're a running back, we're a lineman, we're a receiver. So we're used so much in the offense, and a lot of people don't really understand. And I guarantee we're the probably most beat up position out of any group because we take so much hits. And think about it. If you're a lineman, you're 300 pounds, while you're a running back, you're about 200 pounds. So getting hit by a defensive lineman, by a backer, is so much different than getting hit by a DB. So the hits and all that stuff, you take a lot of damage, man. So that's why I just feel like as a running back, man, we have a huge responsibility. But what I'm looking for, especially if I'm getting the ball, depending if it's a run or a reception, running the ball, we have our assignments and our reads. So depending on the scheme and the play and the way they play their defense, also that kind of all depends on how I'm assessing the play. So, but like my favorite play is a duo, which is a gap scheme, and for us, it's a bunch of combo blocks up to him, the backer, and I'm kind of reading +1 the point to +2. So really, that's really like to Mike to Sam, and really I'm just reading them. So for my job, first of all, is to set up the blocks. So attacking the line of scrimmage, and then once again, I'm reading that +1 to +2. So if they're inside, I'm outside. If they're outside, I'm inside. So once again, just send them up, and once again, just make it a quick decision because they think about it. This whole play is a split second. So I'm not thinking too much. It's kind of more of like a reaction thing. But once again, if he's outside, I'm inside. If he's inside, I'm outside. So once again, just kind of just playing an instinctual game. But yeah, there's not much reads. But besides that, that's kind of my read for that play. Sort of. That's a lot of things. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, trust me, as someone who kind of, coaches and understands like run schemes too, I totally get it. And it's always like, I always love having, prospects and kind of other football people on the show, because then I'm able to do somewhat of a deep dive into, the terminology. And for those of our listeners that are wondering, in Dylan mentioned like 1 to 2, right? So 1 is typically going to be your Mike. 2 is going to be, depending on which way the play is going, your Will or your Sam. So kind of think of it like a number line. But, it's interesting, right? Because growing up, when you do kind of play a sport, there's a lot of people who influence you along the way. And from day one, you had mentioned how your dad threw 5-year-old Dylan into this league
Yeah.
for 6 to 8-year-olds because
Yeah.
he obviously was probably like, don't worry, you'll eventually get it. It's going to make you tougher. But talk about the impact that, your parents have had on you
Yeah.
throughout this journey.
Yeah, I want to give credit to my brothers too, because once again, I think having brothers and a sisters kind of helps so much too, because once again, we were beating the crap out of each other a bunch. From my older brother to my younger brother, we're always just fighting and competing the whole time. So I think that helps a lot too. But my dad, once again, he was my coach throughout my whole career, and also my mom was too. She was my basketball coach. My dad was my football coach. He was my baseball coach too. So like I've played a bunch of different sports, and they all helped me out a bunch. But my dad kind of was my coach, and he'd coached my older brother, so he kind of just tagged me along with him a bunch. So I was always playing up from basketball, football, to baseball. So every single sport possible, I was playing up. And he's 2 years older than me. So once again, I was always playing up, and these guys were massive. But I always had to make everyone miss, man. And that was my goal. But my dad, hey, he's been just a guy that has been my hero a bunch, man. Just seeing him work so hard, and my mom too have worked multiple jobs, and they took a chance on themselves and built a business. And just seeing from my perspective, seeing them how they worked so hard to accomplish so much things, man, it made me want to be them. So this goal of mine of being in the NFL has been something that's been inspired by them. So I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, I mean, parents, I can never say this enough. And I'm sure our listeners that have been listening to me for the last like 45 years since I've been doing this are just tired of me hearing like, you can never underestimate the impact your parents have on you. But, being a Bears podcast, right, I have to ask you, what message do you have for Bears fans? Because I know your assistant running backs coach is from Wilmette, Illinois.
Yeah.
He's a big Bears fan.
Bears fan.
I'm pretty sure him and I played against each other back in high school, but that was kind of
awesome.
Yeah, like 7 or 8 years ago. So I don't, fully remember at this point. And then, what should they know about your play style in terms of, what you're going to do every Sunday?
Yeah. Once again, Bears fans, man, I'm a fun player, man. I'm a guy that you're going to enjoy watching every Sunday, just from on the field, off the field. I'm going to have so much respect for the community also. I'm going to try and do a bunch on the field, especially off the field also. But just my versatility is kind of what sets me apart in this giraffe class. And I know a bunch of guys say that a bunch, but really, I'm telling you, there's nobody like me, from running back to a receiver to a true receiver to special teams to a return specialist to running down on kickoff, on punt. Like, I'll do anything that the team needs me to do. If I have to be the next quarterback also, screw it, man, I'll do it too. So whatever you guys want me to do, man, I'll do it.
So what exactly do you know about Bears running backs? Because this is a fan base where you could literally be walking down the street and you will either see someone wearing the most random kind of running back jersey, or or I'm not even joking, what'll happen is it's like you will be out and about, and you will hear a conversation, and someone will tell you from like 2005, this guy started for the Bears and scored like 3 touchdowns, and Khalil Bell had like a 32-yard run against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football in 2009. I mean, it's that we're that crazy about our running backs here.
I love it, man. I'm definitely a fan of your guys' backs, but probably my favorite back that you guys had recently that I kind of grew up watching was David Montgomery. Was kind of my guy that I wasn't too young, but like that was kind of when I was in like high school, and I kind of was like, all right, like he's a dude. So that's kind of my most recent guy that I love to watch. And also I would say Matt Forte was when I was young, was when he was the guy back then.
Yeah, Matt Forte was so underrated. I loved always fun kind of talking to David Montgomery as well. But that, brings a big question up because as a young kid, you are obviously you're involved in the game, but you're also watching the game. There's players that you try to go outside and you will try to emulate, copy them and their moves. Who are some players at the running back position, but also maybe guys that were non-running backs that you look up to and you tried to model your game after?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely watched a bunch of film, but once again, I think everybody has their own style. If you watch every running back, everyone runs differently, from their cuts to their routes to the way they run, their speed, and it's just so much. It's so different all the time. But someone that I've been watching a lot is Deebo Samuel, and just the way he's a receiver slash running back. Of course, he's more of a receiver, but he can still run the hell out of the ball. Of course, Christian McCaffrey. I'm a huge fan of him too because he's been one of the best backs. Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler have been guys that are so versatile in the game today, where they will rush for a K and then they'll also catch 100 balls too. So once again, they're so unique in their own ways, but once again, they're so versatile.
Yeah, I mean, that versatility component is becoming, it essentially you have to be like versatile as a running back to be able to see the field consistently. But there's a lot of preparation that goes into, the 60 to 65 times that you're on the field during game day, right? A lot of that is just being able to go back and watch a hell of a lot of film, right? And you're not
Yeah.
just watching film on the opponent, like you're watching film on yourself. Kind of what's your, process to go out and to watch film? How do you make corrections? How do you analyze opponent tendencies? What are you looking for when you're looking at opposing defensive ends and nose tackles and linebackers too?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it depends on the weekly scheme. So we're gonna see who's their dude of the week. If they got a crazy DN, if I gotta chip him, if I got a slide to a backer that's a bull rusher, if I gotta go to a blitzer that's a speed rusher. So there's so much things that kind of is involved with a film study, which it goes from blitz pickup, from running the ball, from being a receiver, seeing their coverages, seeing what they like to do with a empty set. There's so much that kind of is incorporated with a film study. And I try to dissect every small thing possible. And once again, after a game is kind of when you start going into the next game. So back in college, we say the 24-hour rule, which as soon as you watch the film after 24 hours after the game is when you're on to the next game. So once again, preparation starts pretty early for the next team. So and there's so much involved. So yeah, that's kind of my thing with that.
So, all right, I brought up like pre and I guess like post game routines, but there's also this other, part of it, right? Which is pre and post game meals, dude. What do you like to eat before games? What do you like to chow down on after games? Because, I mean, when you're on the sidelines and you're on the field, like you for sure get hungry after the game, and I felt
Absolutely.
like I could eat a whole pizza.
I mean, I'm the same way. So probably pregame, I like to eat a lot of food, before any workout, before any game, because if I'm like, even if it's at 6 a.m. in the morning, I have to eat something. I have to eat something because like, if I don't, I feel like poop the whole time. I feel like crap the entire time. So I like to carb up a bunch just for that energy. And then after the game, I'll eat anything from pizza to a steak to chicken to ice cream. Like I will want to eat so much food and just give me a bundle of stuff because I get so hungry. And like to be honest, I lose like a bunch of weight too. Not like a crazy amount of weight, but like after game, I'm down a couple pounds. So I kind of have to get all that weight back.
So, have you ever had deep dish? Well, have you tried deep dish before? It's still something that's on your bucket list that you want to try.
The Chicago guys are gonna hate me, but I'm a New York guy, so I've always been saying the best pizza around is New York pizza. But listen, I haven't tried the deep dish yet. If I go to Chicago, man, that's probably gonna have to be the first thing that I actually try.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? So I live here in Illinois, but my
Okay.
family and I, we grew up in New York, and I lived there for
Okay.
about
Cool.
8 years of my life.
Yeah.
So I've totally had deep dish versus thin crust.
So
But yeah, if you're ever in Chicago, yeah, honestly, I can't tell you
oh,
which one's better.
really, come on, you have to have one. You got to have a choice. If there was it
Okay,
was life or death between those two slices, you got to pick one.
I mean, I would definitely say the deep dish is better,
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, but then again, it kind of just depends. Like, are you going like plain crust versus like a slightly buttered crust, right? Are you adding any toppings to it? I will add giardiniera hot peppers to mine. I know if I add giardiniera hot peppers to my New York style pizza too, it's gonna be pretty good. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of like right down there in the middle. But I'll be honest. I mean, if you're ever in Chicago, like stuff like deep dish and Portillo's, especially Portillo's, you have to go try that. But last one from me here, where are you working out right now? What's a daily workout routine for you like, and where can people check you out on Twitter and all that?
Yeah, so I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. My family just moved down here from 2020 till now. It's a place called X3 that I've been combine training here. I've been actually training here since 2021. They've had a place in Nashville also, but they just moved down here in 2021. So I've been here since. It's an awesome place. I can't rave about it enough, from the trainers to the staff to the other combine athletes here, man. It's been so fun these past 10 to 12 weeks. And then, yeah, on social media, man, you can hit me up at Dylan_Laube on X, and then Dylan Laube on Instagram. But yeah, also my daily routine. Let's see. Before the draft, I was pretty chaotic, but now it's pretty low key right now. But during the main week, it was drills. From Monday was more top end speed and kind of your acceleration phase two. Tuesday was lateral speed, and we worked on the 5-10-5. Wednesday was a recovery day. Thursday we worked on our 42, and then Friday we worked on the L drill. So we kind of incorporated your running speed into lateral speed every other day, and then of course we lifted Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It wasn't crazy workouts; it was more like explosive stuff, and kind of not trying to get stronger, but more kind of incorporating that speed aspect of it. Of like, hey, like we're playing football now. We're not trying to be bodybuilders, so we're trying to gain speed and explosion. And of course, we had the bench for the combine and all that stuff, but it was definitely mostly for speed. But yeah, our biggest thing here, especially at X3, is recovery a bunch. So they had a sauna, a cold tub, the compression boots, massage therapists, PT people, infrared light. So we had everything possible, and they made sure that we used every single thing, man. And that's kind of what has helped me throughout this process, has been my recovery. And I think people take that for granted a bunch, because once again, I've been that gym rat guy that just loves to lift heavyweight and just go. But I've learned in this process, man, taking care of your body, you feel a lot better, man. So my week's been it's been good, man. Bunch of position work also. So really, besides that, man, it's been a fun week. It's been fun a bunch of weeks. But yeah, that's kind of my deal there.
Absolutely. And Dylan, thanks so much for being on here. Best of luck the rest of the week. Keep in touch. Let us know if you need
Yeah, sir.
anything. And you're definitely welcome back on the show anytime.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I mean, hey, who knows, man? I might be the next Bear Great, man. The Bear Great running back. So who knows, man?
Yeah, we will definitely love to see that.
Of course, man. I would love that too.